Thunder cracked across the estate, loud enough to rattle windows. The rain poured in heavy sheets, beating against roofs and rushing into gutters. Chikai's voice rose above the storm as he ran from gate to corner, his white shirt soaked, his chest heaving. "Chisholm! My son!" His voice cracked, tearing through the downpour. Neighbors peeked through their curtains, some whispering in pity, others too afraid to step out. Behind a half-parked van not far from the gate, two rough-looking men crouched, their trousers drenched. Between them, a small boy with frightened eyes shivered under the rain. They had planned to bundle him away quietly. Adeze's instructions had been clear. Red t-shirt, 10-year-old boy, pick him up fast. The kitchen door will be left open. Don't make noise, but things weren't going as planned. Chikai's voice was too loud, his searching too frantic. Every shout of, "Chisholm!" drew more attention. Security lights flicked on in nearby houses. A dog barked somewhere down the lane. One of the men cursed under his breath. "We can't carry him like this, oh. See the man donde disturb everywhere. If we try move him now, we go jam wahala." The other hissed, spitting into the wet sand. "Drop the boy! Before them catch us for estate gate." Without another word, they shoved Chisholm forward. His knees hit the mud as he gasped for air. The men leapt into their waiting car, tires screeching as they sped into the night. Chisholm stumbled, then froze as lightning lit the sky. And there, running toward him, was the tall frame of Chikai. "My boy!" Chikai dropped to his knees, pulling the child into his arms. Rain streamed down both their faces, mixing with tears. Chisholm clung tightly, trembling. "Daddy, they wanted to take me." Chikai's heart broke. He lifted him up, whispering fiercely, "No one will take you from me." "Not while I'm breathing." When he carried Chisholm back into the house, the front door flew open. Inkem screamed with relief and rushed forward, nearly collapsing. She touched the boy's face, checked his arms, pressed her forehead against his, whispering prayers. Obinna came running down the stairs in his pajamas, shouting, "Brother Chisholm! Brother Chisholm!" He hugged him so tightly, the boy almost lost breath. But Adeze only stood frozen, her silk dress clutched around her. Her face was pale, her lips tight. The sight of her husband carrying Chisholm back like a warrior returning with a prize made her chest burn. She didn't smile. She didn't touch him. When Chikai finally laid Chisholm on the sofa, Adeze only muttered one thing under her breath, almost too low to hear. Why didn't they finish it? When they got into the bedroom, Chikai whispered to Adeze, "If I find out you know anything about what happened tonight, then there will be serious trouble for you." Adeze said nothing. She just hissed and walked out of the room. Morning came, the storm gone, but the tension in the house was thicker than ever. Chikai wasted no time. By 9 a.m., he had called the trusted lab. A private car pulled into the compound. Inside were the doctor and a young nurse carrying sealed kits. "We will do the test today. No more delay," Chikai announced, his voice low but firm. Urena arrived too, wrapped in a modest ankara, her scarf tied low. Her eyes were swollen from sleepless tears, but her steps were steady. She had not come to hide. She had come to stand by her truth. The nurse took samples. Swabs from Chisholm, from Chikai, from Urena. Even Obinna watched, his young face puzzled. "Daddy, why are they doing this?" Chikai pulled him close. "Because truth must stand, my son." "One day you'll understand." Adeze sat stiffly, her nails digging into her palm. She didn't argue, didn't protest, but her mind was raging. Each time her eyes fell on Urena, it felt like a hot knife. So this woman wants to walk into my home and crown her child over mine? When the samples were sealed, the doctor spoke carefully. "We will run the test today. By tomorrow morning, results will be ready." As the car drove away, silence swallowed the compound. Only the sound of Chisholm and Obinna's laughter in the distance, brothers chasing each other with a ball in the wet yard, broke the quiet. Adeze's jaw tightened. Even after the storm, even after almost being taken, Chisholm could still laugh. And Obinna still follows him like a shadow. That night, When the boys ate yam porridge together at the dining table, Adeze sat opposite them, her spoon untouched. Her eyes stayed locked on Chisholm. Tomorrow, if the result comes as I fear, my son will never be first. Never. I will not live under this boy's shadow. The clinic's waiting room was quiet the next morning. The smell of antiseptic hung heavy in the air. Chisholm sat between Income and Urena, his small hands folded nervously. Obinna sat with him too, legs swinging, whispering encouragement. Chikai stood by the door, shoulders straight, though inside his chest thundered. Adeze sat apart, her handbag clutched like a shield. Finally, the doctor entered, papers in his hand. His glasses slid down his nose as he looked at the family. "The result is clear," he said. His eyes moved from Chikai to Chisholm. "There is a 99.9% probability this boy, Chisholm, is the biological son of Mr. Chike." The room held its breath. Income pressed her hands to her mouth, tears spilling. Urena closed her eyes, whispering, "Thank you, Jesus." Chikai reached for Chisholm, pulling him close, his chest breaking open with relief. "You are my son," he said, voice shaking. "Not just in my heart, but in my blood." Obinna smiled, clapping his hands, hugging Chisholm tightly. "I knew it. I knew we are real brothers." But Adize's face crumbled. She looked at her son Obinna, her only pride, her crown. Her lips trembled as her thoughts screamed. If this is true, then Obinna is not the firstborn. Chisholm will stand before him in everything, in inheritance, in name, in respect. My son will always be second. She stood abruptly, her chair screeching. "Doctor, are you sure?" she snapped. "Check again." The doctor frowned, holding up the paper. "Madam, science does not lie. The result is conclusive." Adaeze's eyes burned. She turned sharply and walked out of the room, her heels striking the tiles like gunshots. Behind her, the family held Chisholm tighter. But in her heart, Adeze whispered a vow. "I will not fight with mouth again. I will fight with silence, and I will make sure this boy leaves my home, even if it is the last thing I do." The evening after the DNA result, the house was heavy with silence. The rain had stopped, but the echoes of thunder still seemed to hang in the walls. Chisholm and Obinna sat cross-legged on the rug in the living room, bent over puzzle pieces. Their quiet laughter rose every now and then, innocent and unbothered, their heads bent together like shadows that belonged. From the corridor, Adeze stood watching them, her arms folded tight across her chest. Every time Obinna leaned his head on Chisholm's shoulder, her teeth clenched. How dare this boy come and steal my son's place? She turned away, only to find Chikai leaning by the staircase, his eyes calm but heavy. He had been watching her, and he had had enough. "Adeze," he called softly. She flinched, then straightened her shoulders. "What is it?" He walked closer, his steps slow, deliberate. He lowered his voice so the boys wouldn't hear. "I know what is in your heart, but I beg you, let it go." Her eyes narrowed. "Let what go?" "The bitterness, the hatred," Chike whispered. "You saw it with your own eyes. Chisholm is my son, by blood, by truth. That boy is not leaving this house." Adeze scoffed and turned her face away, but Chikai pressed on, his tone trembling with both authority and plea. "Look at me, Adeze. Am I not a father to both children? Do I not feed them, clothe them, pray for them? Which one of them lacks love from me? Must we drag inheritance when the boys are still in primary school? Must we sow envy in their hearts before they even understand what life is?" Adeze's lip quivered, but pride pushed her chin higher. "It is not about love, Chike. It is about order. Chisholm should not stay here. If you care so much, send him back to his mother." The words cut like a blade. "Send him back to his mother?" Chike repeated slowly, as though testing the taste of the betrayal. "Do you hear yourself, Adeze? You want me to take a boy who has called me daddy for 10 years, who knows no other home, and throw him into the street like a parcel? Into whose hands? So he grows hating us? So he grows cursing the day he saw our gate? Adeze's arms tightened. That is not my concern. He does not belong here. Obina is my only son. Chike's voice broke, soft but fierce. Adeze, if you choose this path, it will destroy you. And it may destroy all of us. For a moment, something flickered in her eyes. Fear, maybe. But it vanished as quickly as it came. She turned her back and walked away, leaving her husband standing in the half-dark corridor, his fists clenched, his chest heavy with sorrow. Days passed, but peace did not return. Adeze's new tactic was silent warfare. Each time she saw Obina laughing with Chisholm, she would appear suddenly, her face like stone. "Obina," she would bark, "leave him." "Come here." The boy would frown. "But, Mummy, we are playing." "Did you not hear me?" She would snatch his arm, dragging him away. But Obina always looked back, his free hand stretching toward Chisholm, his eyes brimming with tears. "Mummy, leave me," he would cry. "Chisholm is my brother. I want to play with him." Neighbors began to notice. In church, when the boys held hands to walk to children's class, Adeze yanked Obina's hand away and pushed him toward other children. "Stay with your age mates," she hissed. But Obina, stubborn in his innocent love, slipped back to Chisholm, hugging him tightly. Even at mealtime, it continued. One evening, Nkem served jollof rice. Chisholm and Obina sat side by side, sharing a spoon as they teased each other. Adeze's eyes darkened. She reached across the table and pulled Obina's plate away. "You will not eat with him," she snapped. Obina's voice broke, tears rushing down. "Why, Mummy? Why can't I eat with my brother?" The boy burst into sobs, sliding down from his chair and running back to Chisholm, hugging him tight. Chisholm wiped his tears, whispering, "Don't cry." "I'm here." Inkem stood frozen by the sink, her eyes wet with helpless rage. Chikai slammed his palm on the table, his voice thunderous. "Enough! Adeze! Enough!" But Adeze only muttered under her breath, "One day this boy will go." One day nights were the heaviest. Adeze could not sleep. She lay awake, her thoughts gnawing at her. The image of Chisholm's laughter with Obina haunted her. Each time she closed her eyes, she saw Urena standing in her compound that night, her voice trembling with truth. "Chisholm is your son." It burned her. It consumed her, and the hatred grew. She remembered that night clearly, how after storming out of the sitting room in anger, she had gone to the backyard. How she had pulled out her small Nokia phone and dialed the number scribbled on a paper by a trader woman at the market. "Come tonight," she had whispered. "Red t-shirt, 10-year-old boy, the kitchen door will be open, his room is the second on the left." Her hand shook as she recalled the way she had quietly unbolted the kitchen door herself, leaving it open just enough. Then she had slipped back inside, pretending to sleep while waiting for the call that would confirm the boy was gone. But fate had betrayed her. The kidnappers failed. Chikai had found him in the storm. Now, as she lay awake, the vow in her heart hardened. Since diabolical means did not work, then I will find professionals. Real men who finish what they start. No mistakes this time. The very next week, she began to ask questions in whispers. At distant parts of town, always careful, always discreet. Where can I find someone who handles problems permanently? A man at a mechanic shop eyed her curiously. "You mean assassin?" She froze, then nodded once. The man spat on the ground and smirked. "It will cost you. But if you are serious, I will connect you." And Adeze's heart thudded with a wicked hope. She would pay, she would plan, she would remove Chisholm once and for all. What she did not know was that the heavens had already written a different ending, an ending her pride could never foresee. "You say you want a problem solved?" the man asked again, watching her carefully. Adaize hesitated, then nodded. Yes, the kind of problem that cannot return. The man smirked, leaning back. It will cost you, I repeat, and you must be clear. No confusion. Once we strike, there is no turning back. Adaize swallowed, her palms wet. She opened her handbag and pushed a thick brown envelope across the table. It will not be confusion. I will describe him. Red t-shirt, 10 years old. He will be walking near the gate of our estate. That is the one. The other boy, in blue, is my son. He must not be touched. The man counted the money with calm fingers, then looked at her with eyes that seemed to pierce through lies. So be it. Prepare yourself. Once it is done, you cannot undo it. Adaize's heart raced, but she nodded firmly. Just do it. As she walked home that night, the streetlights flickering on the wet asphalt, her thoughts raced. Finally the house will be mine again. Finally, Obinna will be free of this shadow. The evening of the plan was strangely beautiful. The sun dipped low, painting the sky with streaks of gold and orange. Children played football in the distance, mothers watered flowers, and the air smelled of roasted corn from a roadside cellar. Inside the compound, Chisholm and Obinna begged their father. "Daddy, please, can we just take a short stroll?" "Only small," Obinna pleaded, his eyes wide. Chikai looked at them, then at Nkem, who was rinsing plates by the outdoor tap. "Don't go far. Stay by the estate gate, and be back before dark." "Yes, Daddy," they chorused, bouncing with excitement. Chisholm wore his bright red t-shirt, the same one Adaize had described. Obinna wore his sky blue one. Hand in hand, they skipped toward the gate, chatting about football and puzzles. But just after they stepped out, Obinna stopped. He looked at his brother with a grin. "Chisholm, I like your red shirt. It looks so fine. Can we swap?" Chisholm laughed, shaking his head. "No, Obinna. My own will be big for you. Yours will be small for me." Obinna pouted, tugging his shirt. "But I want it. Just today. Please." "Please," Brother Chisholm sighed. But his heart was soft for his younger brother. He smiled and shrugged. "Fine. Let's swap. Just today." In the shadow of the gate, they pulled off their shirts quickly and switched. Now Chisholm wore the blue, and Obinna proudly wore the red. Obinna giggled. "Now I look like you." Chisholm ruffled his hair. "You're crazy." They laughed and strolled outside, their small footsteps echoing on the pavement. At that same moment, a black car rolled slowly toward the estate, its tinted windows reflecting the fading light. Inside, two men sat still as hunters, waiting. "There," one whispered. The woman said, "Red t-shirt." The driver nodded, eyes sharp. "That is the boy." They did not know. Fate had already swapped destiny between brothers. The estate was calm. A few neighbors chatted by the roadside. The football game had ended. Then, bang! A loud blast cracked the evening air. Birds scattered from trees. Neighbors screamed. Curtains lifted. The sound echoed like thunder rolling across the estate. Chikai, in the living room, jumped to his feet, his heart slamming. "What was that?" He ran toward the gate. Inkem dropped the plate in her hand, water splashing on her apron, and sprinted out. Outside, the scene froze hearts. On the wet pavement, a small body lay in a red t-shirt, unmoving. And beside him, Chisholm knelt in his blue t-shirt, screaming, his hands shaking his brother's shoulders. "Obinna! No! Obinna! Wake up!" His wail pierced the air, raw and heart-shattering. "It was me! It was me they wanted!" Neighbors gathered, gasping, covering mouths. Some cried openly. Chikai's voice broke as he reached them, dropping to his knees. "Obinna! My son!" He gathered the boy into his arms, his tears falling on the red fabric. Behind him, Adaize arrived, her cloth half loose, her eyes wild. At first, she pushed forward eagerly, expecting to see Chisholm on the ground. But when she saw clearly, her body stiffened. No, she whispered. Her lips trembled. It is not him. It was not supposed to be him. Not Obinna. The crowd turned sharply to her. What are you saying? One neighbor asked, frowning. Adaeze's voice cracked, her pride crumbling under the weight of her shock. She dropped to her knees, clutching her head. They were to take the boy in red. Chisholm was to be in red. Why did they swap? Why? The murmurs grew, faces hardened. Neighbors stared in disbelief. Chike's eyes widened as truth hit him. He turned slowly toward his wife, his face trembling with fury. Adaeze, what have you done? Adaeze burst into tears, sobbing uncontrollably, her voice breaking through the chaos. I only wanted him gone. I only wanted Chisholm gone. I did not mean Obinna. The compound gasped. The truth was out. Police! Chike roared. Call the police now! Within minutes, sirens wailed. Officers stormed the compound, listening as neighbors shouted the confession they had all heard. Adaeze, still on her knees, was led away, her wrists bound, her cries echoing. Weeks later, the courtroom was filled. Witnesses testified, the confession was played, the evidence laid bare. The judge's gavel fell. Adaeze was sentenced, her fate sealed not by man, but by her own bitterness. In the compound, life moved on slowly. Chisholm mourned his brother with tears that seemed endless. Nkem held him each night, whispering prayers. Chike, broken yet determined, became fiercely protective of his only remaining son. And Urena stayed close, a mother's love finally finding its way back. Moral of the story: bitterness blinds the heart. Envy can destroy not only others, but also the very blessings God has given you. In fighting the innocent, Adaeze destroyed her own joy. Lesson: love is stronger than bloodline. A child is a gift, no matter how they enter your life. Cherish them, protect them, and never let jealousy turn you against your own peace. If you missed how it all began, watch part 1 of this story now. You don't want to miss the shocking beginning of Chisholm's journey. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more powerful African stories. Turn on all notifications so you don't miss the next tale. Drop a comment if this story touched your heart. I'll see you in the next story.